Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and welcome to This Week in WoW for the week of December 12th. As usual, we'll get started off with the Mythic Plus affixes for this week. This week we have Fortified, Entangling, and Bolstering. Again, that's Fortified, Entangling, and Bolstering. I think I hit the nail on the head last week with the Tyrannical being a bit of a shock to some people. I don't think we had some initial tuning things. I think there's probably still more tuning to do there in theory. But it wasn't as bad as I thought. But people on the high end were like, "Holy crap, this tyrannical boss is really rough," um, and saw some funny, hard fought battles as well, defeating a tyrannical boss. So we're back to fortified, which felt really good last week. So I imagine it's still going to feel good this week. We have entangling, which is one of the easiest affixes that there is, and then we also have bolstering. So fortified bolstering is always a combination that can slow down your keys, of course, because that gets bolstered. Of course, now with bolstering being nerfed and eventually falls off like pretty quickly, it's not as big of a deal as it was previously, but it can slow you down a little bit. But overall, I do not see this week being too much of a problem, especially because of its entangling, and especially because we just saw a fortified week that was extremely easy and just very smooth keys being done. So I expect to see more of that, and high end people are going to handle bolstering correctly anyways, so not too big of an issue there. As for what's going on in game this week, we do have I believe it to be the final wing of the raid finder coming out, so you could actually defeat Farak on LFR, so you could I assume have a small chance of even getting the Farak axe from LFR, if you don't do normal difficulty or heroic difficulty or mythic difficulty. You can at least have a very small chance to grab it, which some people will. And congrats to you if you do. Still waiting to get mine, but maybe that can happen this coming week. We also have the World Quest event up right now. So this does not coincide with any of the super bonus reputation, as the anniversary is over. The Darkmoon Fair is going to be over. Well, the Darkmoon Fair is already over. And so it doesn't coincide with any reputation, but World Quest bonus event. This one's always worth doing, in my opinion. It's up to you, obviously, if you want to do it. But the world quests in Dragonflight are a step back in the correct direction from Shadowlands, which made world quests terrible. So, this is one that I always do. I tend to do the dungeon event and the world quest bonus event as well. We have PvP Brawl. And probably the most notable thing for this particular week is the Feast of Wintervale starts on Saturday. I believe they did updates to this. I'm gonna have to go back and check on this. I believe they did some updates to Feast of Wintervale. If so, I will probably do a video on it. I know the Halloween updates were not that massive, although the Scarlet Monastery thing was pretty big. If they did updates, I'll probably do a video on it. But Feast of Wintervale is up, and I'm gonna have to double check on if they did updates on it or not. But obviously this is a very long holiday. Lasts all the end of December. And barely just a little bit into January there. And so you can do this stuff. For the longest time, this is like the only one I needed to finish all the achievements for, to get like the Violet Proto Drake or whatever for all the holidays. I did finally do that last year, actually, and so I got that done. But this event is active, obviously, on Christmas. I don't know. I think it's on the 25th, actually. You can go to your home city and open up the presents under the tree and all that kind of stuff, and they usually have new toys and stuff like that, as well as most of the old stuff from previous iterations. If they did updates, who knows, there could be something really cool there or whatever. I guess we will see on that. Other than that, mythic raid progression going well for my guild, I would say. We are probably going to be on Smolderon, I believe, this week. We still have to kill Nimue, or however you say the name, but it saw that fight pretty much through. We got it to 25% already, and it's just if you know that fight at all, it's just a repeat of the phases. So imagine kill that pretty quickly, move on to Mythic Smolderon and the final 3 bosses, where the real difficulty will come in. But really enjoying this raid. I've seen some polls on this raid, Amid Soul, and it's a very popular raid among the player base as a whole, not just Mythic Raiders. And you can see that too in the participation in the raid as well, has actually been very good. Participation in last raid was actually pretty good too, to be fair, for like a mid-season or for like a non-first patch of a expansion. But Amir just so very, very strong, especially for a later, well, in this case, the last raid of an expansion. So yeah, definitely all positive vibes from Amir Giselle for me. Mythic Plus wise, still doing Mythic Plus, still filling my vault because still have plenty of upgrades to get. Not necessarily flashy upgrades, but upgrades to get nonetheless. And then, of course, as far as the Phyrex Axe goes, so like I mentioned a little bit earlier, so I've not received that yet. I did get pretty lucky getting, I got 5 lesser embers this past week. And of course the greater ember from the heroic kill. So I'm definitely hoping that maybe I can get that sooner here rather than later. Obviously it's wishful thinking because it is going to be quite a rare item. But I am hoping that I can obtain that here soon. They did do a hotfix to the axe, allowing it to crit and be affected by haste as well. So, you know, Ret Paladin, if you're playing CSAA, you probably have a lot of haste. You probably have a good amount of crit. If not, you have crit when your wings are up. So this is good for Ret Paladins. And, you know, I'm very happy to see that because it was tuned a little bit light. So I'm happy to see that it's a little bit stronger than what it previously was. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all there is to talk about. I mean, while Season of Discovery, I did the raid twice this past week. I've been having fun doing it. It's really, really easy, of course, especially once you get just a little bit of gear. You know, you get a couple pieces of like level 25 item level gear or whatever, and you know, it becomes quite easy. But still pretty fun. Season of Discovery definitely is a fun thing overall. I'm going to be playing it less and less because until the next thing comes out, of course, because there's just not that much to do. But overall, I do think it's a huge W, and everything's going good. A little bit under the weather this past week too. I haven't been doing as much content as what I'd like to do. It's a mix of, you know, I have a family, it's holidays, so free time is a little bit more limited. And then, of course, like I was just mentioning, this past week I was also a bit under the weather on top of that as well. So that's all that is. And I would love to do a little bit more stuff, but sometimes it's just not possible. So that's it for this one, guys. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel because it helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody have a good one.